For those who enjoyed Toy Story, 5 can celebrate. It seems it is only a matter of time before Pixar makes Toy Story 6. But do you have any idea of the incredible things that could happen to you in the next adventure of our favorite toys? Bonnie's Farewell. Unlike the third and fourth movies of the franchise, Toy Story 5 does not try to close the franchise. On the contrary, the movie is just another fantastic adventure that ends up leaving open the possibility of more sequels. So much so that Lindsay Collins, the producer of the movie, said that Toy Story 6 will start as soon as someone has a great story to tell with this movie. It turns out that Andrew Stanton, the director and screenwriter of the most recent production, already has some ideas for a 6th movie. He said he wants to complete Bonnie's arc in Toy Story 6, in the same way that Andy's arc ended in the 3rd movie. That is to say, it is very possible that the toy's next adventure will be the last one by Bonnie's side. Maybe the girl passes her toys on to another kid just like Andy passed them on to her. Seeing that cycle complete itself again would be very emotional, but that is not the only thing that could happen in this movie. We are going to tell you everything we know about Toy Story 6. You already know it, right? Another Cinewave remake is starting. Nobody knows what the story of Toy Story 6 is going to be about, but if the 5th movie talked about the very current topic of toys being replaced by electronic devices, then it is easy to imagine that the next production is also going to be about something from current times affecting the toys. And do you know what is very popular nowadays? Remakes. Many current movies and series are remakes, that is, new versions of old productions. Disney itself loves to make remakes of its old animations, often in live action. And what if Toy Story 6 plays with this idea and shows a remake of Woody's Roundup? For anyone who does not know, Woody's Roundup is a children's series that exists within the Toy Story universe and was released in the 50s, starring the characters that the dolls Woody and Jessie are based on. Imagine Bonnie becoming a fan of the remake of this series and then buying a doll based on the new version of Jessie that appears on the show. That updated Jessie could even be the villain of Toy Story 6. Release date. Something that everyone wants to know about the next Toy Story is when it is going to be released. What happens is that although Pixar clearly has plans to make a next movie for this franchise, Toy Story 6 has not yet been officially confirmed and therefore has not received a release date either. Even so, we can theorize. Taking into account Pixar's clear desire to release a continuation, it is probable that the development of Toy Story 6 will be announced still this year. The 5th movie was announced in 2023 and hit theaters 3 years later, in 2026. So it makes sense to believe that the next sequel will also come out in 3 years, in 2029, and we will be anxiously waiting for that day. Something we can expect is to see Bonnie grow up even more. This is something normal in the franchise. Andy grew up with each movie until he left for college in Toy Story 3. Meanwhile, Bonnie is 6 years old in Toy Story 4 and is 8 in the 5th movie, showing that this custom of showing kids getting older has not been left aside. So Bonnie is expected to be even older in Toy Story 6, mainly if this really is her last movie and shows her passing her toys to another kid. If the story follows that path, it is even possible to imagine that there will be a big time jump with the girl now being an adult. But it is possible that Pixar wants to make things happen in a slightly different way than Toy Story 3, with Bonnie being right in her adolescence. Since the 5th movie talked quite a lot about kids growing up faster, it makes sense for Bonnie to say goodbye to her toys while she is still a teenager. How old do you think she should be in Toy Story 6? Comment down below with the hashtag Bonnie along with your answer. Buzz Lightyear. Jessie replaced Woody as the main character of Toy Story 5, and that was incredible because it brought fresh air to the franchise and showed that it does not depend on Woody to be fantastic. It would be great if Jessie continued to be the protagonist of the next movie, but what if Buzz takes that role? This time, Buzz has always been one of the most important characters in the saga, but he has never had a movie just for himself with the exception of Lightyear. Although the Buzz from that movie is not the doll we love so much, but the Space Ranger he is based on. The next sequel could be the opportunity for the Buzz from Toy Story to finally be the main character, Multi-Buzz. By the way, it seems that the post-credits scene of Toy Story 5 gave a clue about the future of the franchise. In it, the Multi-Buzzes, which are those super technological Buzz Lightyears, fly to a park and end up in the hands of a group of children. That is to say, the Multi-Buzzes are out there and could return in the next movie. Another incredible thing that happens right at the end of that post-credits scene is the appearance of a high-tech doll of Emperor Zurg, Buzz's archenemy. Could it be that he is also going to be important to the story of Toy Story 6? All these things seem like signs that this movie really is going to have Buzz Lightyear as the main character. Lady. In case the Space Ranger really is the main character of Toy Story 6, or at least someone important to this story, it is easy to imagine that the villain of the movie is connected to him in some way, like a doll based on a character from the Buzz Lightyear brand, who could be another adventurous companion of Buzz called Lady Lightyear. Put like that, the doll of this character could simply be another friend to the toys, right? But that would change if Lady Lightyear was in love with Buzz and tried to steal him from Jessie. In that case, we would have every reason to see her as a villain. Maybe she would not be the main villain, but a secondary enemy. While the new Jessie doll, based on the remake of Woody's Roundup, would be the true antagonist. If these two are in Toy Story 6, we can agree that both the original Jessie and Buzz are going to be in trouble. Buzz in Taiwan. The fact that there are great possibilities that Toy Story 6 is about Buzz Lightyear also opens up another possibility about the story of this movie. Maybe some ideas that were discarded in Toy Story 3 will be reused after all these years for the new project. The reason? Originally, the script for the third Toy Story was going to be about Buzz Lightyear getting lost in Taiwan, making the other toys have to go after him to rescue him. The script was completely rewritten to the point of becoming another movie. It is very normal to use discarded ideas in sequels. Disney itself has already done it a few times. Zootopia 2, for example, introduces Captain H.W. Bottom. It turns out she was going to appear in the first Zootopia, but was removed from the script. So there are indeed very real possibilities that Buzz Lightyear ends up in Taiwan in Toy Story 6. Here on the channel, there is a new video every day, so subscribe and turn on the bell to always be up to date. Andy's return. Andy said goodbye to the franchise in Toy Story 3 and since then has only appeared in short flashbacks. But what if that changes in Toy Story 6? With everything indicating that this movie will be Bonnie's farewell, it would make total sense for Andy to reunite with her. After all, Bonnie's story truly began when Andy appeared in the yard of her house and gave his toys to the girl. It would make total sense for her character's arc to end once again with Andy visiting her to see how his toys are doing. Many fans joke that Andy would be upset with Bonnie for having lost Woody since he asked the girl to take very good care of the cowboy. But the truth is that Andy probably would not hold a grudge against her for that. He is already an adult. While Bonnie was a little girl when she heard that request and surely forgot. Now something incredible about Andy's return is that at this point, he has probably already started a family and maybe even has kids. Sid's return. Another character we might see return is Sid, the villain from the first Toy Story. Since Andy has many possibilities of returning, we should also believe that the same could happen with Sid, and for similar reasons. With Toy Story 6 closing Bonnie's era within the franchise, it would be very smart on Pixar's part to show what happened to Sid, the first enemy Woody and Buzz had. Since so many years have passed, Sid must also be an adult, and almost all fans wonder what happened to him. Could it be that Sid still works as a garbage collector as we saw in Toy Story 3, or did he get another job? And does he still remember that the dolls are alive? Or does he think that that day he saw Woody talking and his toys going after him was a nightmare? Emily. Another return that might happen in Toy Story 6 is that of Emily, Jesse's original owner. The fifth movie delved deep into Jesse's past, showing flashbacks of Emily when she was a little girl, and having Jessie return to the house where her old owner lived when she was little. However, we did not get to see the cowgirl reuniting with Emily. In fact, this is another case of something that was discarded from the script. Originally, Emily was indeed going to appear in Toy Story 5 as an old woman. As we already said, it is normal for sequels to use ideas discarded from previous movies, so it might be that Pixar preferred to save Emily's return for Toy Story 6. Blaze. Now who is surely going to appear is Blaze, Bonnie's friend. Thanks to Jessie, the two met in Toy Story 5 and the movie ended with them becoming best friends, since unlike the other kids, they both still love toys. So it is safe to believe that Blaze will return. The only question is, what will her role be in Toy Story 6? Taking into account that a few years must pass between the end of the fifth movie and the beginning of the sixth, it is very possible that Pixar explores the sad but realistic idea that Blaze and Bonnie are going to have problems in their friendship. While Bonnie is 8 years old, Blaze is 9.5. It is a small age difference, but that changes everything in adolescence. When Blaze starts to become a teenager, Bonnie will still be a little girl, and that could cause Blaze to stop being interested in toys before Bonnie. That would be a problem. It was the toys that brought the two girls together, so if Blaze stops liking toys, that could end up causing the two to stop being friends. We leave 2 videos on your screen for you to choose and continue having fun with us. See you in the next one.